And we begin tonight with late breaking news up on Mount Lemmon. A wildfire has now burned between 40 and 50 acres. It's called the Molino 3 fire and started about noon this afternoon, not too far from the shooting range. It is not threatening any structures and the road to Mount Lemmon is open. The Coronado National Forest says the fire is burning in rough, steep terrain. Crews are on the scene overnight. People should expect to see smoke as crews work to build containment lines. You might also see an orange glow from your perspective. Now, the cause remains under investigation. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Maries, and thanks for watching this 13-plus FastCast. Border wall construction in Arizona harmed wildlife and cultural areas. It's at least according to a new report from the Government Accountability Office. Environmental groups say it's no surprise, even as others say a stronger border wall is needed. 13 News reporter J.D. Wallace went to Cochise County to get both sides of the issue.
Even with a nonpartisan report saying border wall construction damaged resources along its path, it does little to change opinions on different sides of the issue. 2.5 years after construction of a higher border wall through some areas that had much less of a structure, a Government Accountability Office report confirms what Lakin Jordahl with the Center for Biological Diversity says the organization already knew.
You know, the report really lays bare all of the damage that the border wall has inflicted on wildlife, on public lands, and indigenous nations across the Southwest, but especially in Arizona.
Fourth-generation rancher John Ladd has 10.5 miles of border along his land in Cochise County. While sensitive species in the area were evaluated and moved if necessary, some transplants did not survive, but Ladd says the efforts were made.
I don't know how else you can be more careful about what you're doing to the environment. And, the bottom line comes down, this is national security. And if this sacrifice is what we have, 60 foot, so be it.
It's just so clear that the wall does nothing to address the causes of immigration, of smuggling, but it does inflict permanent and severe damage on wildlife, on public lands, and to indigenous nations.
Both Lakin and Ladd have seen evidence of the wall being crossed, but while Ladd says a physical barrier remains necessary, Lakin says other methods should be utilized. Both say more must be done on this side of the wall, but what is another debate.
And we absolutely need immigration reform. We need safe ways for migrants to request asylum that doesn't include trekking through a desert, potentially dying of starvation.
I still say if we enforce the laws, we wouldn't have to worry about illegal immigration.
The report recommends remediation of the effects of construction along the border and that Customs and Border Protection evaluate lessons learned from the cultural and environmental impacts. It agreed with the recommendation. Along the border in Cochise County, J.D. Wallace, 13 News.
And please take a look at your screen. The Tucson Police Department needs your help to find 2 robbery suspects. You can find the story on our website, KOLD.com. TPD says the 2 suspects robbed a Safeway employee at 2140 West Grant Road. That's near Campbell. That's happened on August 26th. Police say the suspects threw the employee to the ground, assaulted, and then pepper sprayed her. Police say if you recognize these guys, call 88 Crime, where you can remain anonymous. And actor Danny Masterson received the maximum sentence allowed by law today. He was sentenced to 30 years to life after being convicted on 2 of 3 rape counts in May. The judge heard statements from a victim before handing down the sentence. The judge also rejected a defense motion for a new trial. Masterson's attorneys requested a sentence of 15 years to life and that the sentences run simultaneously. The actor's sentence makes him eligible to apply for parole in 25.5 years. Well, Tucson drivers may soon have a 4th traffic light color to watch out for at intersections. 13 News reporter Andres Rendon explains the Blue Lights program and how police hope it makes an impact.
Green means go, yellow means slow down, and red means stop. Okay, so what does blue mean? This blue light rests just below the traffic light. It's not a camera or recording device. All it does is illuminate when the light is red, and it allows officers to safely observe and catch anyone trying to outrun the light at a safe distance.
Light program is a collaboration effort between the Department of Transportation and Mobility and the Tucson Police Department in an effort to prioritize safety at intersections, not only for all modes of transportation, but also for law enforcement officers.
Drivers may be confused to look up and see a light they weren't expecting, but drivers should always keep driving safely and pay attention to the road.
So there's really no change in the intersection. All movements remain the same. Your left is proceed with caution, red, you need to stop at that moment. These blue lights are just an addition. It's nothing that is there to distract drivers, only there for law enforcement officers.
Officers say this extra tool will decrease collisions at busy intersections and increase safety for all on the road.
Nobody wants to get in a crash that would ruin somebody's day. Nobody wants to get a ticket that also ruins somebody's day. So in order to safely traverse through the intersections, we want people to stop for red lights. So nothing changes with the installation of these blue lights outside of how Tucson Police Department operates.
Apple wants iPhone and iPad owners to update their operating systems right now. The tech giant issued an update. It says fixes a vulnerability that hackers may be exploiting. The flaw currently impacts those with iOS 6.1. The company says owners should go to Settings menu on their devices. From there, select General, then Software Update to install and start the process. And finally, we always appreciate the efforts of our first responders, but take a look at the efforts they made to save the small dog. Tucson Fire sent out this picture today. It's from a crash that happened on Sunday. TFD says the driver left the scene after the car flipped over onto its top, but not before telling witnesses that a dog was trapped underneath the crash. Crews from Ladder 4 used the jaws of life to lift the car and save Pug Beagle mix. Crews wrapped the dog's injured leg and took it to PAC, where they say the dog has already found a new home. Thanks, firefighters. And we want to give you another live look outside where we tied a record today with a high of 105. Could you feel it? We've got an excessive heat warning for this weekend, so stay cool. And thanks for watching this 13 Plus FastCast. And before we go tonight, we do want to show you one last live look from Mount Bigelow. You can kind of see that orange glow right in the middle of your screen on top of that ridge. Well, that's an orange glow from the Molino 3 fire that started this afternoon. We just got a late-breaking update. It has now burned between 40 and 50 acres. Crews are going to remain on the scene tonight. We'll have a live report. Our Sean Mahoney is there, and that'll be coming up tonight at 10 o'clock on 13 News. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. I will see you at 10.